Yo, it's your boy, Ghost. You know what I'm talking? I'm straight up doing a Deji impression. This Sunday was the Ubisoft Forward event, and I watched the whole thing, the pre-show, main show, and post-show, to get as much information on what's going on with Ubisoft right now. And what a lineup! I mean, we're talking Watch Dogs Legion, uh, Far Cry 6, but the main one is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think from the title, you obviously know I'm going to be talking about that. So, as I predicted, the game looks very good. It looks better than the leaks, as I said, and there's been a show of more features to come, and Jesus, there's so much to talk about. So let's first start with the graphics, the visuals. So I watched like 3 gameplay videos. I watched if you don't know these guys, you probably should. They're big in the gaming community anyway. It's I watched the Rad Brad's gameplay premiere preview thing. I watched Jaraptor's one with the stealth video he produced, and I watched Fizzy. I don't know how to say that name, but I watched that one too. And basically, go check out those guys. Those are really cool guys. I like to watch their content. In fact, I'm subscribed to them, but not on this account. Obviously, I use my personal account to subscribe. But yeah, basically, let's talk about the visuals. So we'll get to the combat in a second. But the visuals, man, what a step up from Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey. So basically, the land has whatever's been rendered, basically, it looks so good. Like it's the best ever Assassin's Creed game I've ever seen. Like in terms of graphics, and obviously it is the latest and greatest. Um, AC game, like there's environmental fog and the guard rays are more they show more. The lighting in overall, the global illumination looks absolutely astounding. The game looks phenomenal, and this is still work in progress footage. So imagine what's to come. There's still 4 months left for them to fix up any bugs, and we'll get to that in a second. The combat has been talked about, and that is probably my most anticipated feature about the game, because everyone's been talking about how it's more grounded, and me just seeing it, I can already see that it's more grounded combat. It's a mix between Assassin's Creed Odysseys and Origins combat. The big thing here is you can dual wield anything, so 2 axes and an axe and a shield, or a shield and a shield, if you want to go crazy, or a giant two-handed axe, I believe, or I don't know. I just saw things. I saw brief things like that. Um, yeah, so weaponry in combat definitely improved. And then there's a stamina gauge, which I think only works for dodging. In terms of hitting, I'm not sure. I didn't really pay attention that much. My bad. But then let's go to the longship gameplay. Now that is very much like like the normal boats, not the big ship in Odyssey, but the normal boats. But it's basically a way to travel around. It's not You don't really have combat on the ship, which it is really good. It's a good feature to the game instead of having it for combat. Because like really Vikings didn't fight on ships, so that is staying true to the history of Vikings, which I really like. We gotta talk about the musical score of the game now. In terms of best music in ever an Assassin's Creed game, it's between AC2, Black Flag, Origins, and Valhalla. Now, I think Valhalla has the most impressive musical score or soundtrack ever created. They have got the Viking theme. They have nailed the Viking theme. It is absolutely astounding. Like I never even played the game yet, but I know it's gonna be like it's so immersive from the graphics to the soundtrack to the combat, and even the hidden blade returns. Even in stealth, the stealth has been reworked. You can do environmental takedowns, which I saw in Jaraptor's video, and like learning a new abilities. It's no more skill points. Like abilities are separate things, and you find them in codex pages that you find around the world, which basically encourages exploration, which is another thing. Another thing about exploration is there are random encounters. Well, not really random encounters. I wouldn't say it's like Red Dead Redemption 2's. It's more like mini quests that you can find out that add so much environmental storytelling to the area, especially of East Anglia. Now, YouTubers were given 6 hours to play that content, and some of them never even finished. That's how much one area of content has. And in terms of quality, uh, in Jarapta's quote, he says that the whole of East Anglia, which is a pretty small but big area of the map, in terms of quality, is better than anything you would see in Odyssey or even Origins for that matter, which is really cool. I like it's cool to see that the writing and story narrative and the lore is going in a good direction. And then what else I wanted to talk about? The settlement system. So that hasn't really been touched upon, but they said they're gonna have more footage. Now there is a few bad things still in the game. So the facial animations, for example, they're not necessarily bad, but they do improve upon Odyssey and Origins way more. But I still think it needs that finesse just to make it a little bit more better. And then like in Odyssey, mainly Odyssey, not even Origin. Origins for Bayek's voice actor was great, but I think for Odyssey, I liked Cassandra's voice, and then Alexios's voice. I thought his voice was really forced, and he didn't really play the role properly. But he did play a good Demos. Demos, I think that's the name. He played the villain part better than the hero part. And in terms of voice acting in AC Valhalla, I have a liking to female Eivor's voice more than male Eivor's voice. I thought his voice was going to be a bit cooler, uh, but I really do like female Eivor's voice. It's just much more raw, and in terms of the accent, it is absolutely spot on. But don't get me wrong, male Eivor's voice is good, but sometimes it is forced upon, like Alexios's. But it is good. It does give it gives it does what it needs to do, and he is overall a very good voice actor. Oh, and the main thing for me, they said that they were gonna do a cool little trick of the male and female protagonist concept, where you can choose between male or female, and basically you can switch to any gender um, any point in the story. So basically, you can start off as male Eivor, and if you're feeling a little bit, feminine, you can switch to female Eivor, like mid game, and that is pretty cool. It kind of makes more sense. Well, not really more sense. It's just a more exciting feature. I think like you don't have to restart the game all over again just to experience the other character, and you can just switch and then therefore determine who is your go-to character instead of just judging on what their appearance is. So yeah, it's a really good thing. In terms of the boss fights, it is like when you go out in the open world, you would find these places like arenas, you should say, and when Ava looks at the body, the what I saw was blood dropping on some type of blob, and that released a gas which then drugged Eivor, and Eivor then saw this red boss that you had to fight, one of the daughters of something, and then there's another daughter called Cordelia. Cordelia is the blue boss fight, and then Regan, I think, is the red boss fight. And so it's not really like ghosts or supernatural beings like actually inhabiting the world. Is drugs, like, so Eivor is like basically poisoned, and then she or he or she gets to see those things, which I think is that is very grounded. That is a very realistic thing to do, because Assassin's Creed was always based on real history, not real history, but it was based on history, but then the actions that would take place are somewhat fictional but always realistic. And in terms of Odyssey, like I don't know what Odyssey was going for. The enemies are not sponges. They're not hit sponges. So basically, you can if you stun them enough in a fight, you can like if you stun them like really good, there's a chance you can take them out with the one hit, which is also very realistic. Even boss fights, the health go down very fast. The health goes down very fast. Sorry, my bad. And it is a bit stronger, but that's only to give it a bit of challenge to make it differ from the rest of the enemies. And 16 different enemies. Wow, that is some good variety. Plus boss fights on top of that, and then on top of that, it's realistic. The health bars are realistic, so it's gonna be a pretty realistic game. Oh, and social stealth is back. Can you believe it? That for such a long time, for 2 games, I think social stealth is finally back. Like, and I don't know how it operates yet, but um, it I just saw like Eivor moving with other hooded figures. Speaking about the hood, you can put up the hood whenever you want. To engage in stealth mode, you can just, I think it's hold down and it brings up a action wheel where you can fish, call your horse, sound your horn, um, put on your hood. There's a whole lot more, and that is pretty cool. In terms of animations, they're some of the smoothest animations I've ever seen in an Assassin's Creed game. They use like this motion blur effect, which is really cool. It kind of, they said that the game was going to be running at 30 FPS, uh, at 4K, yeah, at 4K, and that isn't necessarily bad. But for 30 FPS, with that motion blur effect, it looks like it's like bloody 1,000 FPS. No, I'm kidding. But it looks very smooth. The combat even has smooth animations. There's a lot of smooth animations. There's not really a lot of rough animations that I saw yet, besides the facial animations. And then the combat takedowns are so cool. I know I'm like bouncing back from topic to topic, but there's just so much to talk about, and I didn't create a script for this video, so I'm just talking off the top of my head. But there is a lot more stuff to talk about. If I carry on talking, I'm gonna go on for an hour. But as you can see, I am very passionate about this game. I just knew that the Ubisoft Forward gameplay was going to be a lot better than the leaks. Apparently, the person who did leak the game, that player just sucked really bad at playing the game. And in terms of feeling like the older games, the YouTubers that played it said it took them a while to get used to the controls, which is good to know. So they're changing things up a bit. It doesn't feel a lot like Odyssey, and calling it an Odyssey 2.0 is not really what it's going for. It really is a different AC game, with the same engine. Obviously, they're obviously going to use the same engine because they had to do one for cross gen, so they had to keep the engine the same. But maybe the next, like proper next gen version, will be something else completely. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm really hyped for this game. I am gonna definitely get this game. Probably day one. I'm gonna really try and get it day one. If not, I don't know. But I really wanna try and get it day one. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Really exciting topic. I hope you are excited as I am, and I look forward for the game's release date, November 17th. Man, let's go. Let's just skip time, man. But thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, leave a like on the video, and if you like me and like my content, subscribe to me to see more. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Take care and bye bye.